Can setting boundaries be life-saving? Hello, my loves. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, back again with an episode of Chronic Wellness. Thanks for joining me. So if you've been here for very long, you know that I'm a really big fan of Dr. Gabor Mate. I have every confidence that his seminal work, When the Body Says No, is more than 50% responsible for the fact that I'm still alive today. And that is a hefty claim. And I mean every word of it. And when I was trying to think of that statistic, 50%, I actually think I'm lowballing it. But I wanted to really impress upon you how transformative his work has been in my life. And if you are someone with cancer or who has had cancer or who has had an autoimmune disease and you're not familiar with his work, get familiar because he talks about the ways in which our personalities, our lives, our choices, our our family structures and our background have probably led to some of the stress disease connections. And this is not about blaming us, but it is about taking opportunities for healing that we may not have known about or may not have seen before or have opportunities to learn about before, and can put us back in the driver's seat about taking control of our health in ways that we may not have been taught and that no other doctor is going to address with us. And so I urge you to think about learning from him. And one of the things that he teaches is about the job of our emotional system is to help us regulate and to allow in all that is nurturing and healthy and positive and loving, and to keep out those things which are toxic and poisonous and will break us down and ultimately lead to our demise. And he draws the parallel between that emotional system and our immune system, which fundamentally serves the same job, is there to allow in all which is healthy and nourishing and nurturing and feeds cell growth and development and health, and to keep out all the things that are toxic and poisonous and unhealthy and lead to cell demise. And for those of us with cancer and autoimmune disease, in addition to other illnesses, something has fundamentally gone wrong. And for any of us with chronic illness, learning how to set boundaries is a necessity. Self-care requires boundary setting, requires focusing on my needs, saying no to others, making hard choices, and following through on those. And so in his book, The Myth of Normal, Dr. Gabor Mate has an activity that I think is worth anyone working their way through. And it's simply 4 questions. And the more often you examine and honestly answer these questions, the more benefit I think you'll receive. As with most things, the deeper you go, the more thoroughly you might mine some answers that are really worthwhile. And the questions are these: where in your life are you not setting a boundary that you want to be, or you believe you could or should be, that you desire to be setting a boundary? What is your belief behind not saying no? So what belief do you hold? Like, if I say no, I'm a bad person, or if I say no, they won't ask me again, or if I say no, it means that I am blank. Where did I learn this belief? Who modeled it? Who taught me that? Why do I think that's true? That one's kind of deep. Very revealing for me. And finally, who would I be without this belief? And if you keep working through those questions, the illusions that we hold about why we stay stuck in the particular way that we are have an opportunity to fall away. So, boundary work is self-care, and we're going to spend at least one more week talking about this particular aspect of managing of managing long-term chronic illness. And I want you to brag to all of us about any aspect of this, about the ways that you're setting boundaries in your life, about something you said no to, about the fact that you tried this activity, about any piece of boundary setting in your life, because it is it's difficult work, and especially if you have any bit of the disease to please, or if you are reforming that in your life. Let's celebrate one another and keep up the good work. So I will say that for myself, I made a really hard choice a couple of weeks ago about not participating in a really fun weekend that was planned with me and some girlfriends, because I just was not feeling up to it. And as much as I really wanted to do all the fun things that were planned, I was sick still, and I said no. And it was hard to say no because people were counting on me, and we'd planned it for a while, and there were expectations on my part and on theirs. But there's my little brag about I chose my health over the fun thing, which isn't easy and doesn't come naturally to me. But it was the right thing to do, and I'm further along in my healing now because that's the choice I made. So there's the first brag, and I hope that you will follow up with more so that I'm not alone bragging on myself. And we'll continue this conversation next week. Thanks for being here, and keep showing up for yourself. And remember that these behaviors are really, really ingrained in our psyche. And there's a lot of reasons that we choose to keep saying yes when we need to say no. So be patient with yourself, be gentle, and if it's time to learn new habits, keep working at it. Until we're together again, I love you, and be well.